absolute value means distance. We have several properties of absolute value. If absolute value of x is a and a is positive, then there is solution. The solution is x equals a or x equals negative a, right? For example, if you have this, absolute of x is 5, positive, there is a solution. The value of x equals 5 or negative 5, right? If absolute value of x is negative 5, then there is no solution. Okay? Because the absolute value is always greater than or equal to 0, cannot be negative, right? Cannot be negative. So there's no value of x. If absolute value of a negative number, no solution. Okay, next one. Inequality. If the absolute value of x is less than a, where the a is positive, the solution is x is greater than a, negative a, but less than positive a, right? For example, right over here, absolute value of x is less than 5, the solution is x is greater than negative 5, but less than positive 5. Because we know that negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, or 1, 2, 3, 4 satisfy the inequality, okay, inside. The name of this 2 point is called end point, okay, negative 5, 5, end point. Right, the next one. If down over here, okay, the absolute value of x is less than negative number, negative 5. We know distance cannot be less than negative number, okay? So there will be no solution. Okay. Now let's see the next property. If the absolute value of x is greater than 5, the solution is x is less than negative 5 or x is greater than 5. X is outside of the 2 end point. Okay, x exists outside of 2 point. That's it. Absolute of x minus 10 equals absolute of 10 minus x. You can switch two numbers any times. Always equal. So you can see 10 minus 5 equals 5 minus 10. The absolute is true, okay? The next one is, how do you convert a general interval into an interval using absolute value? Convert a general interval into absolute value, okay? Some intervals have 2 endpoints. These two numbers are endpoint, okay? Another one is over here. These two numbers are also endpoint. Good. So the first one is this type of interval, 10 and 30. Inside the 2 points, we have a solutions. Solution is inside. So we have 2 endpoints. Now we can use absolute value expressions. To have absolute value expression, we need midpoint. Now step 1, find midpoint, or someone said middle point. So the midpoint is the average of 2 endpoints, right? So 10 plus 30 and divided by 2 is 20. That's the midpoint. The second step, we'll find the distance from the midpoint to the endpoint, one of endpoint, either 10 or 30 is okay. So 30 minus 20 is 10. That's the distance. Now substitute the numbers in the form here. X minus midpoint. Inside the solution, that means less than, equal, or no equal. Okay, just less than. Okay, the distance. Distance from the midpoint to the end point. Now the substitute the numbers over here. That this is the midpoint, and the one is the distance from end midpoint to the end point. Example 2. We have a question. X is less than or equal. At this time, I'm going to use only less than, okay? X is less than 10 or X is greater than 30. Okay. It's the same as before. Find midpoint. Okay. So 10 plus 30 divided by 2, 20 is the midpoint, same as before. What is distance from midpoint to the end point? 30 minus 20 equals 10. We know that the solution X is outside of the two end point. Okay, 10 and 30. So now the inequality will be different. Okay, X minus midpoint 20 will be this times greater than 10, is it? Not less than. The distance from the midpoint end point is 10. Okay, that's it. Okay, very simple. Okay, now we'll have some practice SAT questions. Number 1. Okay, so you can read the question number 1. Okay, and figure out. Take time. S is the scores of final exams. All of the students have the scores between 78 and 86. Okay, that's general interval expression. Okay, how do you find the interval using absolute value? Should be same as before? Oh, yes. Between two endpoint means inequality is less than, right? Choice A and B are not working, right? So now midpoint. 78 plus 86 divided by 2 equals 82. That is midpoint. So definitely the distance from midpoint to endpoint is 4, right? Okay. Yes, this is correct. So take a look number 2. A borrowing company computerized system to accept the borrower between 5 and 37 and 6 and 4/7. If not, they all will be eliminated. So we got general expression of the interval. Solution is inside 2 point. So we can see equal sign, less than, right? Okay, we have a 2 choice, B and D. So distance from midpoint to the end point different. So all right, so now find the midpoint. So 5/37 plus 6/4/7 and divided by 2 is 12/2 is 6. That's the midpoint. Now what is the distance from midpoint to the end point? It is 4/7, right? So what is the formula form? Substitute f minus 6 is less than or equal distance. Midpoint to the end point is 4/7, right? Okay. So when you take log choice, this is not working, right? Not working. Okay. So this distance, but f minus 6, that is exactly equal to what? 6 minus f, right? So the answer is choice D. Okay. Okay, now number 3. Okay, Dairy Milk Company machine X fills a box milk, box with milk, and the machine Y eliminate the milk box if the weight is less than 450 gram or greater than 500 gram. The machine will eliminate the box. So the interval must be E is less than 450 or E is greater than 500, right? That's general expression. That is general expressions. Now find the midpoint. So what is midpoint? 450 plus 500 over 2 and divided by 2, 475 is the midpoint. What is distance from midpoint to the end point? 500 minus 475 is 25. That's distance. So E minus midpoint 75 must be greater than 25. That's right. So choice D is the answer. That's right. Okay. So this converting expression from general interval to absolute is very, very important and popular SAT questions. Okay. So okay. Okay, that's all today. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Okay.